Maybe that's the answer that we don't want to see.
This is not the world I want to live in.
Or the B1 Jinx.
Okay.
That's going to be the change-up. And of course, Dagda, you were talking about this. Jinx has a lot of early push, so it might be a way to stop them from going for the strategy. But when we see Zeus lock in Sion here, we'll see that they do have more things in the tank.
Yeah, I am curious to see exactly what, it's going to be the Sion, but I don't think we'll get the play on bot side to start things off at least anyway.
Unless they want to do a real throw and go for Karma and Caitlyn, because this is something that Gumayusi and Keria have gone back to even when it isn't meta. Doesn't look like that is going to be the case though with the Annie lock in here, and probably just going to be in Aphelios and play out the straight up team fight 5v5 style.
Okay.
Doran.
This could, of course, be going into mid lane, but Chovy hasn't played Gragas so far in 2023.
It's not his thing.
It's not his thing. He does like melees, though, just in general. But Doran is just so good on this champion. If you didn't watch the LCK final, it was all about Doran being able to outplay Zeus in that top lane that got Gen G so far ahead. So they're going to lock that one away. And now Chovy, what is he going to be picking up here, and who is it going to be for? Do they want to shore up their bottom side and make sure that Delight gets on something that he's very happy to be on, or is it going to be something else? Poppy could also come through for Peanut. He is fantastic on that champion, but instead, he's going to lock away the Viego.
Yeah, so we're still seeing Gen G like not going fully into the, hey, we just want all the beefy frontliners and try and make our plays happen that way. And I think the Viego, an interesting one to see, because I still think like you have opportunities like Sejuani that can make things awkward, like even when you look towards things like the Wukong as well can do relatively well. So I'm curious exactly what way T1 want to go. They will pick up the Aphelios, and you'll probably see a lot of those junglers banned out now just to make sure that owner is uncomfortable.
Also CD Ahri, understandably, something that Gen G have used, even though Chovy wasn't able to make the biggest impact, is a champion that he has a ridiculous win rate on, very high impact generally. Last game, notwithstanding, pairs well with the Viego as well. Another pick that my mind is going towards maybe the Lissandra. Lissandra Viego is something that we've seen a lot, so wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the ban for T1. And unsurprisingly, after Owner's performance in the previous game, the Poppy ban comes through.
I know it wouldn't really fit with the Viego, but I actually think a Veigar would be really strong here, just for Gen G. The fact you can just plonk down the event horizon and make sure that, well, like, relatively short range Annie, relatively short range Aphelios, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. And as Chronicler pointed out, the Lissandra are going to be taken off the board, so I am curious to see exactly what Gen G want to take into that mid lane now.
Yeah, that's the most obvious Lissandra angle ever. Not only is it okay in...
Hey, let me feel smart, Atlas. Come on!
No. But
super obvious.
It's also alongside Viego, and that is probably one of the best
We've seen it a lot,
mid lane champions to go up alongside her. So doubling down on how intelligent you were, Chronicler. Don't you worry about that. The Thresh going to be taken away from Keria. Keria's Thresh is different. It is just extraordinarily powerful. They're not wanting to deal with it. And Tahm Kench could just come through here, deny it from Gen G, and give it to Gumayusi, allow him to play super far forward once again. And Keria was amazing in the last game. It wouldn't surprise me if it does get locked away.
Yeah, if you take the Tahm Kench, though, there's not a huge amount of threat onto the Jinx. But there is threat onto the Jinx.
Now there is some threat. We have found some threat, Dagda. There it is. You asked for it, and you will receive it. There we go.
And even though Blabber, who played it last time, wasn't able to get a win of it, I actually do think the Nocturne was very efficient. Something that allows you to reliably get onto the enemy carry, but also the vision plays that you can set up around trying as, gotta pick it away here.
Yep, there is the Tahm Kench, and we don't necessarily know where that Annie is going. So what I wanted to talk about was the Twisted Fate Nocturne combo could come in, depending on what this mid lane matchup is going to be. And now we're going to find out, because Delight has to pick it up for Chovy, or tell us that Chovy is going to be playing Gragas. Where are we going with this? That's a dragon.
What?
Okay. The Aurelion Soul going to be the option. Keria is looking for better Tahm Kench as his support option, hovering two of his most successful champions so far this season. This is another one. They don't necessarily need to go double AD carry yet again, but I think he's just having a little bit of fun with us. What's it gonna be, Keria? Okay, there we go. Okay. It's just another hook that he's gonna throw down on that bottom side, and it will be Blitzcrank alongside the Aphelios here for T1's bottom lane.
It does make things a little bit weird for Owner, though, because he will be the sole person trying to dive in onto the Jinx, not having much of the support. Like, yeah, he'll get an Annie shield, all good, but not exactly the best setup to go alongside this Nocturne. So I think, especially when you look towards the fact that you got Chovy, who's going to be massive in these late game fights, same with the Jinx. if you actually get to the later portion of the game, it feels like you've got a lot of tools here on Gen G to dictate these fights.
And this is also Gen G clearly saying, hey, we had Alistair before, you know, maybe we can bring it back somewhere down the line. But this is Gen G to me also saying, okay, that game number 1 didn't work out. We're going to go back to what works. Mid to late game team fighting, a lot of scaling, and most notably, the range advantage this time around is there for Gen G.
It absolutely is. This is going to be Chovy's first competitive game on the reworked Aurelion Sol, so didn't jump on that bandwagon immediately, and of course not a lot of our LCK players really did, so looking forward to seeing what he's going to make of it. Last time we saw it here in this tournament, we prefer not to talk about, and so we're going to see what he can make work into the Annie of Faker. But T1, it looks like business as usual here for their composition. And we'll see whether Gen G can this time around throw a wrench into the works. But here we go. Game number 2. Gen G taking on T1. T1 already 1-0 up in this series. Making their way out onto the rift here and seeing whether they can collect themselves match point.
Are we getting a cheese?
I mean, you have Blitz and Annie. I think you can invade, you know, if you want to. Oh, he doesn't know.
Well, there's the flash hook! All right, immediately Chovy has to respond with his own as he breathes some lightning sporadically around the rift in frustration, and will now go home.
T1 aren't. They still want to see if they can try and get a little bit more.
Ooh.
Okay, so this time they actually have full control of this bottom side, but it looks like they're not going to go for the same strategy as game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, just not having the push here makes it very difficult to go for that. Doran, though, doesn't believe that. And it's been like, you know what? I'm going to wander down to this bot side anyway, just in case.
And I quite like that. I do think that also the jungler plays a big part here. We saw the Poppy last time out, how good it was at the early dive. With Nocturne, don't really have the same capability. But we know everything that is happening on the map. Gen G does not, although they might also just try, even if there isn't anything happening, to pivot this into an early kill. Carrier, do know, doesn't have flash.
Yeah, so...
Oh my god.
This has turned from a defensive play to an offensive play as Doran, yeah, we get confirmation that he's still sitting there in the brush. Carrier also one up. He could just throw out a rock grab into the brush if he would like to, as there's the flash body slam. Gumayusi immediately knocked up, but just presses the ghost button. The hook is going to be used in response. And yeah, they managed to get a ghost, but that is all they're going to be able to find with Doran's flash invested.
And that was the thing, Gen G knew that their timing window was gone. The second you see Sion get to lane and he's like, well, I'm supposed to be laning against somebody who's not here. So they kind of tried to force it, but it just means that Doran's now down a flash, down a TP, and yes, you get a bit of damage onto Gumayusi, but not really enough to push him out of lane.
No, you only have your Q, right? So it's not like you can chain the body slam into a knock-up from the Tahm Kench. And now, Doran is down to summoners. He's Gragas, so like in terms of health, he'll be fine. He can sustain back up, and Grasp will help a little bit there as well. But still, it's an extremely heavy investment. Guma doesn't even have to use his flash, which means that any follow-up peanut gank isn't as effective as it could otherwise be.
Do you want to hear the glass half full for Gen G, though?
They
don't have to deal with Sion being underneath their turret
that
at like
true.
level 2, okay? So there is at least that they have managed to thwart.
I like it.
That's about all I got for you, though, gentlemen. So far already, T1 feeling pretty comfortable, but that range advantage that you were talking about is going to come into effect. So we'll see whether Pays on this Jinx is going to have the same level of success that Gumayusi did in the first game.
The thing is, though, because Gen G wanted to try and make a play with Doran, they didn't push the wave as heavily as they could. So you can see now it's a little bit pushed out as Nocturne is in the bot side. I don't know if they pinged out there just that he would be here, but that's why Delight and Pays now starting to move over to try and get a ward down, and we'll spot out where Owner is.
Yep, they get that information. Faker is cheating down towards this bottom side. River gets the stun onto Chovy. As Chovy on a champion that really, really likes to pick up minions here in this mid lane. See how this Aurelion Sol is going to do for him as Carrier moving into the river. Owner coming down now as well. 3 versus 4, but Chovy is moving in. A bit of a split here on the Gen G side as Faker versus Chovy is going Faker's way. Carrier taking a lot of damage. Grey health now there for Delight as well as Carrier is going to get taken down. And first blood goes to the Jinx. The flash Abyssal Voyage to come through for Delight to try and get Gumayusi out of there, and he has to invest his flash because of it. And Gen G, fantastic fight in the river.
The chompers coming down from Pays were perfect, cutting off Carrier's escape path, and now Owner, he's made his way down. not really in a position to get onto Chovy, and they will just back away.
All right, here is the exciting matchup, though, gentlemen. Gragas versus Sion. So much damage available in this wet noodle fight on the top side of the map.
Up.
If Ona's there, that is a bit more damage available. But Ona has body slam, stuff like that. He should be fine. No flash, of course, because he invested that at level 1. But Ona instead is just going to come on over, say hi to the Grump, clear that one out, and then consider whether Doran is going to stick around, and he is.
Also want to commend Owner on his choice of Nocturne skin.
Oh,
that is
the spooky Nocturne!
Yeah.
As you know, my
objectively the best.
absolute favorite. Exactly.
Do you have a strong opinion, Dagda?
What's your favorite Nocturne
We're in
skin?
agreement.
Do you like Blender Nocturne?
You are looking at me with big puppy eyes. Like, come on, come join the
I want to
team.
know.
Like, okay, yeah, I'll join. I'm on Team Spooky. Yeah, great. Like,
There
you
we
look
go.
So genuinely
Another one.
Is that actually your favorite, though? Or is there
I'm not
going
gonna lie. I'm
Nocturne
completely
option?
blanking on all other Nocturne skins.
Really? Well, there's the Blender Nocturne. You know, the big
Oh, true,
red one,
from the
Eternium?
TFT one.
Yeah. Yeah,
You got a Eternum, you know, the really dramatic one?
Yeah, that's Blender.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Because it looks like a blender.
I have never heard anyone say that.
You've heard me say it today. Because I think it might be my first time as well.
Well, I respect it, Atlas.
It's along the lines of, you know, like Lawnmower Scanner.
I feel like we're getting off topic here. As
We don't even have flowers here. Come on, man.
We do. He's backstage, so we can have a chat. We'll see where the Lawnmower Scanner is going to check. Okay, Chovy taking a lot of damage here, as he does just do a bit of a drive-by breathe onto Tibbers, who is going to teleport back towards a Faker and not give up his life for now. So, nothing too much to worry about there in that mid lane as Peanut does make a visit bottom. Gumayushi still without his flash, but Ghost is back off cooldown as far as his defensive options.
Also, Owner, starting up the Dragon here, with the amount of movement that he made, still ahead when it comes to farm, but not level 6 just yet, right? And that's what we're going to be looking towards. Once that Nocturne Ultimate is available, Paranoia can be a really effective way to either get someone like Gumayushi on the bot side back in the driver's seat, or maybe try and make a play when Gen G tries to contest. I was going to say the Dragon. That's clearly not happening, although maybe a follow-up fight.
Yeah, that's the flash forward here from Peanut. Owner, fantastic spell shield as the hook does come forward, but I don't know where the carrier really wanted it. As he gets interrupted, the Chompers were set up, and Owner now very, very low on health, but without a flash, still has his life.
Really nicely done there. If Owner doesn't catch that spell shield, I think, or a spell shield the stun from Peanut, they might be in serious trouble. However, Gen G still gets a bunch of summoners, keeps the Nocturne on the back foot, and is able to put some pressure on T1.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that T1 got the Dragon is super nice because it definitely feels like you kind of want to pick the pace of the game up a little bit here to just have a fight that kind of happens around the 23 to 25 minute mark at that Dragon Soul. Because if you're just letting Gen G scale into Oblivion with the Aurelion Sol and the Jinx, it's going to be pretty disgusting to try and deal with this team fight later. So at least T1 securing that early objective will give them that bit of an opportunity then to start that timer.
Yeah, I feel like that scaling conversation that we were having in game number 1 is now a little bit of a, if Gen G make it to certain minute in game, they win.
Yeah.
But T1 certainly have a lot of mid-game strength, and their snowball capability with a composition like this is absurd. So if they can do that, then we could be seeing a 2-0 on our hands. But that is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
I also want to highlight that T1, as we know, is a team that is known or notorious, depending how you look at it, for their Baron setups. Nocturne is a champion that can really help with that, deny a lot of information, make it a lot harder to set up, possible steal.
Even the fact you're trying to play with range here for Pays and Chovy as well, that Nocturne just completely screws you. So I think definitely you have opportunities here for T1, especially if they can look for the hook. Carrier over the wall will be spotted by the minions though.
Yeah, Chovy does have to be a little bit careful about bears raining from the sky and is going to back away from that one. And Gen G also going to back away from Shelly, who is being started. T1 now with control of this topside river. And they should be able to collect the second neutral objective for themselves in a row, as Doran on this bottom side wanting to trade for plates.
And this is the only upside, I think. Gen G, Pays needs to catch the wave on top. And even though they can't contest the Herald, Doran is really far behind. And him being able to pick up a plate, pick up a couple of waves, I think actually kind of gets him back into the game because he was getting snowballed against by Zeus Saya.
Does mean Gen G's on the weak side of the map though, and already you can see Gumayushi carry here. I wouldn't be surprised the owner try and wrap around here and just put a ton of pressure onto Pays and Delight. Have to wait to see how you can already see
on his way.
He's going to get interrupted, and immediately the paranoia comes down. The fear is going to come through, but another hook is going to land, and Gumayushi grabs that kill for himself. Now Pays just has to look on as the corpse of the Tahm Kench is going to remain. So teleport to come through here, but Faker is in position. Pei's running for the hills, but there's nothing he can do. The bear is going to be enough, and it's a solo kill for Faker. Now Chovy, he's going to throw down the stars, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep him alive, and T1 just destroy Gen.G in the top lane.
Wait a
Peanut, can he find some resets here as this Viego, as they do manage to get one execution onto Faker, but one kill does come through for Peanut.
And the biggest thing there, Doran tried to TP and he got denied again. If Doran is in that fight, Gen.G have a chance, right? And you also saw Chovy is teleporting in there with the assumption that they're actually going to be able to commit to the play, but because Zeus is able, I think it was the ultimate, to again deny Doran to join the fight, Gen.G get caught off guard, and T1 is able to win the fight.
Oh, it's heartbreaking stuff for Gen.G and T1. Like, the fact that they managed to slow down the pace of the game, we kind of said, look, at least Doran's getting some stuff back, but the fact you end up leaving Pei's and Delight on that weak side of the map, T1 punish beautifully, and not only get the 2 kills onto the bot lane they're hoping for, they get a couple of extra prizes as well.
Yeah, this ward in this brush, absolute MVP for this particular players. Now we're going to see it. Zeus just parks the train onto the Gragas.
And that's the second time we've seen that happen. And imagine if there is a Gragas here, right? Pei's is completely fine. Chovy is able to join and then make sure that everything will be okay. Faker doesn't end up picking up the kill, but instead, everything goes T1's way.
Yeah, I mean, the TP from Chovy was super late as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd already abandoned the turf from Pei's, and you're only just coming up here into 4 members. Now, they do end up going super low, but it's kind of heartbreaking here for Peanut. Owner does a really good job of just barely preventing him from getting in to get the 2 kills there. But at least he managed to pick up 1 for Peanut, but it's a big win for T1.
Certainly is. As the dust settles, we only have about a 500 gold lead here for T1. As 23 seconds on the Cloud Drake. Denied yet another Cloud Soul, but a few other options that could be spicy. Hex Gates, a possibility. Chemtech Soul, another possibility. Ooh. Absolutely fantastic. One of my personal favorites. Orcs is on the desk, isn't he?
Yes.
He is a huge fan of Chemtech Drakes. We got so many of them after he joined the LCK.
Yeah, he really dethroned you as the
did.
guy who...
He was the Dragon Bringer.
Drakes.
Yeah, but he was the Chemtech one. I was the Windy one. As all right, Doran looking for an opportunity here. There's another body slam flash as Faker is going to use the cast to taxi his way out. Paranoia comes in yet again as the stars do once again descend. Faker goes golden, but I have a feeling he's still going to go down, and that is Peanut getting yet another kill. Delight going to go down in response, though, as it's a 1-for-1. Chovy is flying towards them. The breath is going to come through onto the Scion, but he's still going to be able to remain alive as Gen.G come alive here in this mid-game a little.
Reset City was nearly being built there for Gen.G between both the Jinx and the Viego. They were nearly able to take over that fight, but T1 do back away, and Gen.G get the drag.
T1, you don't have the pyramids, okay? You need to go for the proper channels, and now Gen.G trying to start the dragon, but are getting contested.
Yeah, Gumayushi under 50% health right now without any summoner spells. That's why he's hanging so far back. As Doran also relatively low, and they slink in, and it's just going to be a full heist. As T1 just walk on over and say, no, that's mine. They will pick that one up.
They didn't even have the city permit. It was completely gone.
No,
The building's
T1
all
did
gone.
do their work. Yeah, they're fine.
That was very strange. It's almost like they were kicking them out of their own house, you know, instead. It's weren't actually going for a steal of something that Gen.G owned. So T1 now moving themselves towards a couple of Drakes in the lead. Mountain Soul, yet again. High value dragon in this game once more. T1 can continue this snowball and grab that Drake. It really does help them out as for their game plan. So we're going to check this one out one more time.
I mean, the fact that Faker gets a flash off here is absolutely massive. And I did kind of think at this stage T1 would dissipate. Like, Zeus not able to get in there, but great stun coming through from Chovy. Faker has to go golden. And that hook from Keria just barely missing Pei's and getting Delight means you've actually got your front line there. And when the reset starts to come through, you can see big ultimate, big CC coming through from Peanut to try and help out with just following up, but they're not quite able to do so.
Yeah, big thing there is Guma actually flashing. If Peanut is able to get the kill, you're in deep trouble. Zeus.
All right, Dragon breathing on him for a moment as Doran gets in there with the body slam. There's a cast that's going to work out as Paranoia comes in. Can Ona actually save his top lane? The answer's no, but the rest of the T1 cavalry has now arrived. The skies are descending on top of them. Decent knockups are down as well, but the Scion, in fact, the Viego is going to fall. Looking to come on board yet again as Peanut collecting it, but his own version of the zombie mode is going to go down. That was so confusing, gentlemen. My brain exploded.
Too many zombies.
There's too many zombies, as Peanut will fall, but not after getting a whole bunch of work done.
I think big there was not just Peanut being in the front, but also Chovy being able to just keep on channeling, right? Like finish his Rylai's. Look at the amount of damage that he's able to do by just continuously standing behind his two meatballs. And here what we see is T1, as they often do, attempting to really turn this one around, but I think they kind of underestimated how fast Zeus was going to go down.
Yeah, also the fact that you managed to steal away the Sion there, get a good knock-up onto Owner, and this just sets up beautifully then for the rest of the follow-up to come through. So really nice job there from Peanut. Yes, he ends up falling down, but even the fact you get the zombie mode activated is perfect. Now Gen G trying to move down to the spot lane, Faker en route.
Yeah, Peanut will take his Krugs first, as Gumayusi with red and white guns really making some short work of this turret, but Doran comes on over to save its last legs at least. Peanut with the largest gold lead in the game right now, but T1 in every other role doing absolutely fine. But as it stands, gold only about 200 in favor of T1. But those dragons really are going to be the things we need to focus on, as Gen G, I guess, has one dragon, don't they?
It's not the right type of dragon.
No.
Well, I mean, depends on what you're looking for. You know,
They definitely need a mid lane.
If you're talking mid lane team fights,
Yeah.
or a mid to late game, I'm saying that's a good dragon.
Yeah.
But you also don't want T1 to get Mountain Soul for very obvious reasons, and that's kind of what I'm looking toward. If Gen G is not able to get the Drake in about a minute and a half, I don't think you're really going to hit the item breakpoints that you're looking for, or in case of Aurelion Sol, the stack breakpoints, to where you can basically take on almost any fight and be able to win. And if T1 gets a Mountain Soul, all of the equations with 100 to 0 combos, you know, Doran engaging, Peanut getting resets, become a lot harder.
And the thing is, because Gumayushi's managed to pick up three,
Faker.
pick up 3 of the kills.
Very cute.
It's very hard then for you to actually use Jinx to push up in this lane, because if you end up carrying Gumayushi, the Gale Force, very quickly moving towards that Infinity Edge, trying to get the push can actually be a little bit tough just because Gumayushi is such a lead. So you do have to be quite careful in trying to enter in towards River to get that vision down so you can actually take these fights and not end up with like Faker having a good flank or just Owner jumping on you.
Even with the light there, it is also hard for pace to move up, right? Between the Nocturne, the Annie, and the Blitz.
Well, speaking of which, he is going to move up. Chovy going to put down a little bit of a black hole there underneath the enemy turret, but it's not really going to do too much. And Zeus just pushing this wave towards the top side. So not exactly the most action-packed game so far, but T1 have taken the most neutral objectives. So I think theoretically they are going to be pretty happy.
For my first ever LCK finals, though, this is exactly what I want.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, how is it the first LCK final that you've casted? You're 1 game and a half in, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I already feel at home. I feel like I understand exactly what's going on.
All right, so you will just need to get an email over to G-Sun.
Okay.
And we
can
take
get that
yet
process
another
started. Get the right permits.
Yeah.
Get it done.
It reminds me of 2019 all over again.
I'll move in with Ox. It'd be great.
Rocket grab is going to land, and immediately Delight is going to get taken down. Not enough great health going to be eaten to keep him alive there. And that is Owner picking up the kill. Now T1 with a big advantage, move towards the mid lane.
Really big mistake from Delight. You know that Keria is going to be fishing, and without a Kench, Paze isn't really going to be able to play this upcoming team fight. And now T1 looking at Soul Point here for a Mountain Soul. Really big win for them.
Absolutely huge, and they also get the charge in the mid lane as well, so that turret very, very close to going down. Delight now making his way back, but it's not going to be enough to get them into position around this Drake whatsoever. So that Soul Point that you were talking about, Earth, Wind, and Fire locked down here for T1. And now they're looking to augment that with an outer turret in this mid lane as well. A really big moment here for T1 in this game if they can lock that one down. Gen G going to deny it for the moment. T1 will walk away.
Yeah, you can see Gen G were trying to set up for something. Chovy over the wall, maybe the flash body slam from Doran, but T1 are like, look, we got what we came for. Let's just back away. But I am holding my breath every time Keria steps near someone. I'm like, is he gonna get it?
Often the answer is yes.
Yeah, he's a really good player. I'm not gonna lie. It's insane how good he is.
That's a bit of a controversial opinion there, Dak. You care to elaborate?
Although, I mean, Delight is actually a fish, so he should have known better. You mentioned that, you know, okay, never mind.
No, I actually would love for you to explain the joke, Atlas. Please do.
Oh, the amount of times I've walked into that one. Anyway, Faker moves up here towards his top side to clear out the wave, and we are back to just housekeeping, tidying up Summoner's Rift. And we'll have to look towards a Baron that's going to be spawning in a minute's time for T1's next port of call. Because, of course, like, if you ever want to know what T1's looking to do next in the game, assume that it's Baron.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got a couple of seconds until it comes up, yes, it is 20 minutes, but you can already see, like, Carrion moving up in this direction. They just want to try and push waves, get vision, because a huge amount of their game plan is we actually don't want to full-on 5v5. We want to see if we can get a pick with Carrion beforehand, so trying to get this mid lane turret down is the big one. And Carrion, this is...
I would have flashed. I would have just flashed.
That's really big though, because Carrier uses his flash, right? And obviously you can still get caught, but it takes away a lot of the pressure. And Pace, he's unfazed. He doesn't care, just walks it off.
He really does have a level of stability around him that does not make sense for his age. Because I saw that flash forward, and if it was me, I could have been 3 screens away. I would have been flashing.
It does upset me that he's half my age and more secure in life than I am, but Carrier.
Well, the Abyssal Voyage is going to come through there as Carrier. We may have cursed him just a little. They get the Devour out, and Carrier didn't go down without a fight, but he still will go down. Peanut locks up the kill for Gen G.
Just brilliant stuff. I mean, the fact that they managed to get the turnaround there, the E coming through from Delight makes it very, very easy. And now Peanut wants to see what he can do in the Blitzcrank, but everyone on T1 is dissipated. Faker matching Chovy push on the top side, and I think again, Peanut?
Yeah, Peanut just looking for it. Does not find the stun there onto Faker as the Abyssal Dive does come through. Owner looks for that opportunity. It's a phenomenal ult from Chovy there as Faker is going to be the result of that. But now T1 members do outnumber them. The flash out, decent cask to come through from the grave. But Gumayushi is flashing on top of them. It's a double kill already. Make it a triple. And T1 will walk out the victors.
A crucial there is that Peanut could... Oh, Pace.
Flash forward there as Owner is not going to be able to secure him. And he will get to safety.
A crucial there is that a lot went down and Peanut couldn't start the resets. I think maybe because of the vision denial and Zay is standing on top, he was immediately channeling his decimating smash. So Peanut couldn't get close, couldn't get more kills going. And now, 21 minutes, T1 about to pick up the Baron.
Yep, yet another T1 Baron to come through here, their 3rd for the series so far, as Zayas is going to dive forward towards Paze, gets a full channel on the Q, and Faker just mops it up.
It was going so well until it really wasn't for Genji.
Yeah.
T1 now immediately putting the foot on the accelerator. 6 kills for Gumayushi, nearly his 3rd item. And I'm going to say Faker dodged these abilities, but definitely Chovy had to try and come in to rescue this one because it wasn't looking so hot at the start.
And what we see, even with the ultimate going down there, right? Guma is so much faster to the fight. So you're lacking so much damage, and we know how aggressive the T1 AD carry tends to be.
Speaking of which, he's going to get cast away. We'll see whether Doran is going to survive. He's pretty tanky right now as Peanut as well, fighting against Owner, who's moving forward. Delight looks for the tongue lash, but Zayas is here as well. One after the other, T1 are bearing down on Gen G. The Tibbers not going to find too much value, but still they're going to be able to get it. The hook's going to land once again, and Doran will fall down. T1 now looking for an inner turret off the back end, and this Red Bull Baron power play is only going to get higher and higher. Currently 4,000 gold, they're looking for more.
And T1 are angry. 23 minutes and they're already going to crack the base.
Another hook! Oh man, he's addicted to fishing. Chovy tries to find the ult, but nothing more is going to be found. The inhibitor will fall down, and T1, is this all you want to take from this, or is there more in the tank?
I think they can back off because in 10 seconds that Mountain Drake is spawning. Possibility here to get the Mountain Soul and basically take Gen G out of this game completely. You see Gen G, where as well. Maybe you're going to try and get something going, but I don't think they have the damage available right now with the teleport. That's not happening.
You can see the goal difference powered by AWS. This is a significantly quicker goal lead.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say so, as, yeah, Zayas not going to take any damage from almost anyone at this point. This Scion very happy in this particular game. And Gen G, we mentioned the scaling advantage that they had. Their Nexus may explode before they've been able to scale, which is what we alluded to earlier on in this game. And now T1 on this Mountain Soul point, they will be able to just take down this, collect themselves a soul, and Gen G haven't found a neutral objective all game. They haven't found a turret all game.
And it's something that, sure, domestically they don't necessarily prioritize dragons, but they are then able to trade cross-map, right?
Yeah.
They're able to get a turret, which right now hasn't happened yet, get a Herald, and when we talk about scaling, right, I think obviously with Jinx and with ASOL, yes, these are very strong, but it's not like any and Aphelios, if they can get on top of that back line, they can still wreak havoc. And right now, it looks like Gen G isn't getting an opportunity to play the game.
Yep, Owner on the flank does have that paranoia available. Peanut will find him. See what T1 are going to be able to find. First, it's going to be the inner turret. Then, looks like Peanut is on the menu. Owner still looking for more, but Peanut slinks into his own mist, and he will be able to get himself out of the way.
Yeah, they need to go back and deal with this wave that's pushing in topsides. T1 again should be able to just take control of the jungle, start to slowly but surely choke out Gen G. The wave started moving Keria. Oh. Man, this is the most exciting fishing I've ever watched. I'm not going to lie.
Well, Peanut is once again just trying to stop T1 from being able to take whatever they want, but so far it's been unsuccessful all game, and it is going to remain that way as the inner turret is going to be taken down. All inners now removed, one inhibitor turret also taken down. Gen G just scrambling to find anything. T1 moving towards a 10,000 gold lead. And Peanut has to dash, gets himself out of the way of the hook once again here for Keria. As Peanut just throws a bear at him, and there's only so many times you can dodge it, Peanut. This was not one of them. And now it looks like this inhibitor turret's going to go down.
But if you're a Gen G fan, that one feels very recognizable.
Oh dear, Faker flashing forward, finds a big old bear, and there is a Devour, but Delight's not going to be able to save his whole team. As Gumayushi grabs the first kill, Owner's going to grab another. It's a double here for the Aphelios, and I think game 2 is just done and dusted. T1 taking Gen G down for the second time in a row in this series. They will find match point, and we'll see whether Gen G has anything left.
Oh, he got him!
Anything else in the... Oh my goodness!
Another
Hook, and I think if we were going to do player of the game, which we don't do here at MSI, but I give it to Keria for this one, as Peanut going to look for Zeus, but he's not going to find it there. Nexus goes down, and T1 move to match point.
And there are some moments in this series for Gen G, a couple of individual plays, but I think even in the loss that they had against T1, right, in the upper bracket finals, back in playoffs,
Yep.
I don't think it looked this lopsided. I actually think that Gen G in that series, even though they ended up losing, felt like they had more going on, because this game, like, you see the ASO, right, you see the Jinx, and even in the mid game, nothing is going their way, right? The ASO felt like kind of a pick that eventually maybe was going to do something, but to me, the biggest advantage that Gen G had over T1 in finals was Chovy. He was everywhere, he was proactive, he was impacting the map and the fights, and ASO doesn't allow you to do that, and even the moments where he was there, he couldn't get anything done.
And I think a lot of that was the fact that you end up missing some of these core abilities in the mid game that end up stopping you from snowballing this, or at least slowing down the pace of the game, and it causes major issues for you.
Certainly does. We'll see whether they can solve them before game number 3. Before that, though, we are going to throw it back to the analyst.